All right, people of faith, let's take another walk. Let's talk on the subject of smiling, the intent or the impact of a smile. I don't know, we are all on social media, uh, or if we have personal pictures of ourselves. If you do have personal pictures of yourself, and if you are on social media, you have basically a friends list or contact list and all that stuff. Between yourself between your personal pictures and your friend list or contacts, excuse me, how many friends or how many pictures of yourself do you have of them or of yourself smiling, showing teeth? I'm one person who refused to smile. I was told when I was younger that my teeth were imperfect, they was rotten, there was all that good stuff. So that kind of stuck with me. And then on top of that, my lips were discolored, so I was told that they was distorted, and it was a deal. So that I attached myself to that or those comments, and excuse me, and that kept me from smiling. And along with that, could have been a start of it or a continuation to the actual damage on the inside. I say that to say when we don't smile, it's basically showing the misery inside the soul. And if you're misery, you're going to attract company, which is going to be evil company, and you're going to be around the association of evil company. Excuse me. Am I saying that a smile will prevent all that? I'm not necessarily saying a smile prevents that. I am saying a smile is an indication of where you are in your soul. I was miserable in my soul, so you will never see me smile. It was to the extreme that I would go to the dentist of years of neglection of my teeth or whatever, and the dentist will say smile, and you're going there for them to perfect your smile or to make your smile better, and they tell you to smile, and there's a reluctancy, I refused, like, no, I don't want to smile. I was that ashamed of that imprint of those thoughts was implemented that deep inside my soul that the one person who's trying to help me, I wouldn't allow to help me. And if anybody know where I'm going with this, you can see where I'm going. Okay, so that just dealing with the impact of smiling. There's other factors that can go along with the soul. We desire the very best for us. The very best starts within us. If the soul is damaged, if the soul is full of weeds, if the soul is full of torment, how can you ever have a prosperous life? You may have materialistic value based. How can I say it? Society may have placed a standard of value on materialism. So we would think getting those items, that material, now all of a sudden we would have increase in value. That's far from the truth. So we wait for the next wave of imprint, what's considered, the trend or whatever was fashionable, and we go get it. This is why we're such we are consumers of, I guess, certain products, certain name, certain brands versus others, and because we're looking for identity, we're looking for something to be more valuable than what we think that we are, and this is all implements of the soul. So we go on the outside to look for inside valuableness. Valuability. Can I say that? I don't know if that's a word. If it's not, it is now. Valuability. Okay. So we're looking for we're looking for an identity in a world that is prone to teach you how not to have an identity. I'm not talking about a world as in people. I'm talking about a world as a system, as a spirit. There's a fearful spirit that covers the earth. That could not cover the earth, that circles around the earth, that walks up and down the earth. We know him as Satan himself. Now remember, he has his angels or whatever follow along, so they do accordingly to him. And their job is to recruit us, so we can go to the rest of mankind and spread it throughout the earth. That's how it goes. Same thing with the God the Father. The God the Father does the same way, but he's just on the good side, the prosperous side. So God sent forth his son. His son gave us his spirit. His spirit comes inside of us, and we take his spirit and we go to the next person and we spread it throughout the world. All right. So, but going back to the smile, if you don't have a picture, if no, I'm sorry, let me say it this way: if you have a collection of pictures of yourself without a smile, get rid of it. Get rid of it. That those are toxic. Those are toxic. How can I say it? Those are memories or unfamiliar or familiar spirits of toxicity, full of misery. If you look at your contact list of your friends or whatever, how many of your friends you can say that are smiling in their picture. If you notice that a lot of people have like this grim tone, this disgruntled, this uneasy, and they will say on the other hand, that they want to be blessed, that they deserve the blessing, that they are blessed, and that they are good people. But if you are your showcase, now I'm talking about myself as well. If you are your showcase, how are you demonstrating anything that you're saying that you are if your showcase is showing the opposite? It's amazing how, myself is included, I've showed body parts of myself more than I was willing to show a smile. Can you see where I'm going? Now you're talking about a soul that's in torment, a soul that is in agony and misery. It doesn't have an identity. Can I say it went back as far as a person talking about my imperfected teeth or something like that? Or can I say that could have started it, but I continued it by avoiding the the necessities? So first thing I did, okay, all right, I a couple years ago, a few years ago, I had a stroke. To 2017, I had a stroke, and you're going through a scary place because you haven't been there before. You're talking about the brain and and all that good stuff. And majority of my brain was wiped off. I to let you know how bad it was. I not only I didn't remember how to count and add and subtract and all that. I didn't remember what my mother looked like. And so a lot of people that was coming to me, whatever, I really couldn't recognize them. So it's like having a file cabinets full of all your records, and then somebody came and knocked over your file cabinet. So now you have to put all those papers back in order, back where they were, and this is your indication when you go into this your files, you know where everything is. So that's what my life was from that point on, was restoring everything back so I could remember everything. I am just now 2020. I'm just now remember what my mother looks like without looking at a picture. So with that being said, I'm in that transition of that. I come home, my lights and gas is cut off, my taxes is past due, and I have no food. Now, God is this is where you see, like, I asked God to show me him in a way that only he can show me him. And so my neighbors or family members or friends or whoever, even the staff at the hospital or the rehabilitation facilities, they were all like in this bountifulness of love, and they was pouring to me like these increments of like love, these drops of love. People would come to visit me, whatever. I may remember them, I don't know. But when I got home, it's like I didn't want to come home from all that love that I was receiving there, because then I had to come home to an empty house, and and I had to restart all over. Where the true problem was within me. I was trying to go out and have people to love me, but the true problem was I didn't have no love for myself. I was invaluable to me. So I was looking for somebody else to rescue me. This is primarily what my mom did for me. So when she went on to be with the Lord, I'm empty handed now. I'm looking for people to love me like she did. And no, she chose to do that. Not everybody's going to choose to do that. Maybe not even my spouse when I get married. Who knows? But the God has placed me in a place, positioned me to be prosperous. That prosperity starts with me going inside of me and me forgiving myself, so that I can walk in forgiveness with everybody else, and I can just walk in forgiveness. Period. And that I had to learn how to wash the people's feet, or to bless people who wronged me, or how to love on people who wronged me, who whatever. Like I said, I wanted something more than my life than it was before. So God put me in a position for prosperity. Am I telling a person to go ahead and have a stroke or go through some kind of uh, disability or something like that? No, I'm not saying that. I am saying if you ask God for something, He's going to do His part. But you don't need to have fear. You don't. Fear is going to present itself like to be afraid, but you don't have to. This is where God will show how valuable man He is, and it is a beautiful start of a beautiful relationship. And so I'm I'm fast forwarding. Well, let me catch back up. Uh, so I'm at home, and everything is in disarray. Everything is, I don't know what I'm going to do, how I'm going to do this by myself, and I had help, but I was a burdensome to my help, because of what I didn't understand what was going on with me from years past, on top of the stroke situation. So I sort of forced the person that was helping me out. And if the person listened to this video, you know who you are. It's my sister. I would say it that way. It was my sister. So, and I love her, and I forced her out. And at that point, I was forcing everybody out because I really didn't know what to do with me. But like I said, I was in a position of prosperity. So a person may say, "How are you in a position of prosperity when you up under so much stuff that's considered negative?" Nah, this is where you're going to see. This is where you're going to see your true value, is when you go through fire. Because if your faith is not developed through this process, it will never be developed. Because that if it's not developed through this, you will want somebody to carry you. And there may be one person or persons that may carry you, but they won't carry you for long. It will become to a point where God may tell them personally, stop carrying you, and because it's time for you to walk. Like I said, I was in a position of prosperity, so it's time for me to walk. Which, according to Scripture, it's time to walk by faith and not by sight. I can't go by what the bills say. I can't go by what the health say. I can't go by what the doctors say. I can't go by any of that. I have to go by faith. So So the Lord gave me an assignment, and we have been on that agenda ever since. And these videos have been a blessing to record, and to hopefully help someone and all that good stuff. And just to let you know that you're not alone, that, you are blessed. You deserve to be blessed. But until you walk in that power, You know, you are more than a conqueror through Christ that strengthens you. But if you haven't surrendered to that love of God, you know, through His Son, then I don't. It's going to be a hard deal. You know, I don't like stuff that I get to be taken away from me. I get accustomed to what's mine. I don't like to, you know, if you with me, be with me. And I'm not saying that to a person. I'm saying like if it's mine, it's going to be mine. So I come to understand this. There's two givers. There's a giver of the curse. There's a giver of the blessing. When God gives you His blessing, it never stops blessing. Excuse me. It doesn't dry out. So if you heard this, if you heard someone say this, what God gives you, it is for you. That is no lie. That is, it's yours. When God put His hands upon you and bless you, it is there for good. When the enemy puts his hand on you to curse you, it is there for that duration until you come to the humility of surrendering yourself to God's love, which is His Son. So I was away from the blessing because my lifestyle was crazy, you know. And if you saw prior videos, you heard me talk about it. But going to it all has effect with the smile. So you know, I was damaged, you know, all that good stuff. So I thought within myself, who can love me? So the Father said, let's start. We have to start there. Let's do the surgical work inside. That means if you asking God for His prosperity, He is going to be a mirror, and He's going to show you your soul. He's going to show you what's in your mind, your will, your emotion, your intellect, and your imagination. If you're asking God for prosperity, and if anything is inside your soul that is not of Him, it's going to be of love, it's going to be of joy, it's going to be of peace, it's going to be of goodness, it's going to be of honesty, it's going to be of humility, it's going to be anything that won't produce any harm. Because harm represents torment. Torment is fear-based, and God, that's an enemy to God. Okay? God works in 1,000% or beyond of love. So he don't get down with all that other stuff. So anyway, um, he checks the soul to see himself. If the soul is not like of His will, I mean, if your soul, if you're asking God for Himself, and He check your soul and He don't see Himself, and you asking for Him, that's where the work is going to start within inside yourself. So here we are, 2020, talking about smiling. I was a person who never smiled because of what I was told. Now the Lord gave me an assignment, you know, about smiling. That's the next part of perfection. I desire God's very best because I see something greater for me. Christ is available for every person who wants to receive Him, but every person may not receive Him. So that's the choice. I saw what my life was without Him, but I also saw my life what it was like with Him. So I went back to what I knew what was best for me, which was Christ. And for me, Christ will never be a religion or some kind of stature of customs and traditions of shapes and sizes, something physical. When when your brain is like sort of like touched with, or you know, this it's not the same anymore, you kind of look at life kind of differently, you know, and you start to see the world in a more spiritual aspect. And I think a lot of us have been accustomed to the flesh so much, accustomed to the lust of the body, accustomed to the lust of things that will hurt us, yet we don't know what it's like to be separated from evil. We have an idea, and we haven't come to some knowledge of what evil is or what good is. But if it doesn't keep you from harm, like torment, then it's not of good. If it gives you 1% or 0.1, whatever, of harm, or a place where torment can come in, it's not a good. I don't care if it's medicine. I don't care if it's whatever that it is. If it's any artificial, whatever. If it doesn't give you 100% love, I mean 100% love, there's evil attached to it. Love is not broken. It's not missing anything, because love has no fear. So there's no reason for it not to be whole. The reason why we don't walk in wholeness is because we walk with fear. Fear is a contaminator. It's a destroyer. It steals. It kills. So if we have love, we have it all. So fear will try to get us to walk away from love. It can start with us at a young age. It can start with us at any point of time. All the enemy needs is one access for the voice of fear to come inside of our soul. But see, this is how it comes good. The voice of God would say, don't focus on what you see, because what you see is actually not real. Person said, like, well, I can physically see it. That may be what you would call a fact, but it's not the truth. The truth is invisible. The truth is the reason why it's there. And that truth, more than likely, we don't even know the reason for it. It's like if you have an accident and the fact is two cars hit each other, right? One person says this, the other person says that, but the truth is in the middle. It's what both of situations were. No one knows both of the truth because they both could be stuck in their own fact. So this is where God is all truth. He knows both, and he knows how to reconcile the situation, and he knows how to put the situation in its proper place. He just needs us not to walk in fear. So the surgical work started within me, that we have to get rid of the fear. Nothing can hurt you. But things have hurt me before. And so the question will be asked, where is the love for yourself? It's not that it wasn't available. I have family, I have friends, I have people around me that was willing to love me. So it's not that it's not available. I just wasn't receptive to it. I had my hand on fear. Until I saw the value of love, until I saw the corruption of fear, I would have never transformed my life. My life would have never changed. And so I say all that to say, you are the blessed. Let's be the blessing. Let's keep walking.